Welcome back, everyone. We're doing another deep dive into the Gonna Eat Bread TikTok series.
Good to be back.
So we're still in season 40, moving on to episode 19. And guess what? We're looking at La Panaderia again.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we just talked about them last week, didn't we? With some other items.
Exactly. So returning to this soon, it feels like there's something specific going on.
Mm-hmm. Definitely suggests something notable.
And this time, the focus, the main buzz is really all about the sound.
Ah, the crunch factor again?
Yes. The description is pretty wild. It says the crunch is so intense, it's like biting into a bag of pretzels.
Wow. Okay, a bag of pretzels. That's loud. That's very specific.
Right. So let's unpack that a bit. What in the baking process could lead to that level of sound?
Well, a really pronounced crunch like that, several things could be going on. Maybe lower hydration in the dough.
Okay. Less water means?
More rigid structure
Yeah.
after baking, basically. So you get more of a snap, less chew. Think like a cracker versus a soft roll.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And I guess the baking itself plays a huge part too.
Absolutely. Maybe a longer bake at a lower heat.
Yeah.
Or potentially even like a double baking technique to really dry it out.
Right, right. To maximize that crispiness. Now, this is where it gets interesting for me because uh, remember episode 14, the Cruffin?
Oh, yeah, the cruffin.
Yeah.
Also from La Panaderia.
And that one was also known for a big crunch, wasn't it?
It absolutely was. And the visuals, if you recall, very flaky, very messy.
Huh. Yeah, messy is a good word. The description mentioned crumbs just flying everywhere, a total pastry explosion.
Which, visually and audibly can be quite appealing online.
So connecting the dots here, this super intense pretzel crunch now and the really crunchy, messy cruffin before. Do you think this extreme crunchiness is maybe becoming like a signature for some of their stuff?
It's a really interesting thought. Could be a deliberate textural focus, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Especially considering online food trends. That ASMR quality, that really satisfying loud crunch, it gets attention. People react to it.
That's a great point. The sound itself becomes part of the draw. You almost feel it through the phone.
Exactly. It's a sensory hook.
And we do have a visual for this, episode 19. It shows, looks like a piece of iced monkey bread.
Okay.
Yeah, dark and white icing drizzled over it on a gray plate, sort of a wooden background. Well, it's pretty nice.
So you've got that soft, sweet visual of the icing,
Right.
but the main descriptor is this intense, almost jarring crunch. It's quite a contrast.
It makes you wonder, does the icing add to it? Like, does it get brittle? Or is the bread underneath the source of all that noise?
Good question. The icing might form a sort of thin, crackly shell when bitten, enhancing the sound. Or the monkey bread pieces themselves could just be baked to be incredibly crisp internally.
It really feels like, gonna eat bread and maybe La Panaderia too are tapping into that whole multisensory thing. It's not just taste or looks.
No, the sound is clearly a key selling point here, or at least a key feature being highlighted.
It's fascinating how focusing on just the sound makes us think about the actual baking science behind it.
Right. How do they achieve that consistency? If it is intentional, how do they guarantee that pretzel level crunch?
So yeah, wrapping things up here, even just from the description and thinking back to the cruffin, that prominent crunch from this La Panaderia bread is definitely the headline.
That bag of pretzels line is really vivid. It sticks with you.
It does. And yeah, seeing it pop up again after the cruffin really makes you wonder if a signature crispiness is their angle for certain items.
Building a kind of textural identity, maybe.
And that visual of the smooth icing,
Yeah.
it just adds to the whole thing. You imagine the contrast, that snap into the softness.
It's a great example of how just one sensory detail, like sound, can open up a whole way of thinking about the food, its structure, and the experience.
Definitely makes you think beyond just does it taste good. What other sensory stuff might be hidden in plain sight or sound in this series?
Perhaps something for our listeners to ponder on their own explorations.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for diving into the crunch with me today.